Hi, everyone. Before we jump into the episode, I just wanted to give a shout out to the show's sponsor, exitgroup.us. Go check it out. Think of it like a fraternity for guys who are trying to do things in the world, like build businesses. If that's something you're doing and you'd like some help and advice along the way, it's a really good starting place. It's a membership organization and it is selective, but if you're a fan of this show, you are probably cool enough and have the right disposition to be a member over there. The other thing is please consider becoming a paid subscriber to the Granite Mountain Movie Club. I'm not allowed to make money on Twitter for some reason. Elon has banned me from doing that. And in my personal life, the Longhouse and many other evil people are trying to also prevent me from making money. I don't know why. It's just how it's going. So every little bit helps on the Substack. And also, this episode will be spoiler-free up until about the half-hour mark. And then after that, I think I'm going to paywall it. But so that the full episode with spoilers will be over on the Substack paid version. Thanks. All right, welcome everyone. This is the Granite Mountain Movie Club. I am your host. I go by Granite. Today we are talking about the very new film, came out today, basically, called Weapons, directed by Zach Cregger. Is that how to say it? Cregger? The Aggro Craig. We've got first-time guest here. We got Bit Pundit. Bit Pundit, tell people about you. I assume Bit in your name is reference to Bitcoin.
Yeah, I joined Twitter because I was a Bitcoin guy a couple of years ago, and then there's not a whole lot to talk to people about on Twitter every week about Bitcoin. It's just money, so I really got into talking about movies with people, and I found your pod a couple of years ago, and I've been friends with you guys on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed actually by the people who are like crypto Twitter. Like, what do they even talk about? Just like, oh, this one went up 5% today. I don't. Well, maybe that's fun. I don't know.
There's all kinds of stuff, especially now that there's legislation. There's Trump getting on board, and crypto people were the biggest donor group for Trump in the last election. So, but yeah, there's just I've listened to every Bitcoin podcast out there, and I'm just movies are more interesting.
Nice. I hope you made a lot. Hope you made a lot of money. And we've got Arturo here.
Hello,
he was here, just like a week ago. How you doing, Arturo?
Doing well. Always glad to get seated for a new film and talk about it while it's still fresh in mind. So I'm excited to discuss this one with y'all. Me and Bitpun, we actually saw the movie together, so we had a pretty don't speak for him, but we had a pretty great experience. I think it was well worth the IMAX.
Did you guys have a nice tray of hot dogs, mustard only?
We had steak and shake with the beef tallow fries afterwards.
RFK fries.
Yeah, nice fries, chudded post film snack, burger snack.
And then we've got Obese Goth here. I don't think he's been about a year since he was here, but he's back.
That's right. It's good to be back.
All right, so let's get into it. Weapons. So first, I guess who saw Barbarians? Did everyone see Zach Cregger's last movie, Barbarians?
I did see it. I saw it not in the theater. I saw it on laptop screen, but it was sufficient. It was during the middle of the day, but it still was pretty effective. I liked the sort of twists and turns the plot made. I liked it a lot. I think this one was a step up, though. It was a good second feature, but I did see it.
Yeah, I saw it at home based on another friend's recommendation, and I watched it alone at night, and I was very scared.
I saw it in the theater opening day, like I do everything.
He's a faithful moviegoer. Yeah, Barbarian. I remember. I found the beginning very compelling because I had been in that situation where when Airbnb, I hate Airbnb now, but I just prefer hotels. But when it was new, I was using it a lot. And I, a number of times, did find myself in these situations where I was in some suburb or something, and no one's around, and I'm arriving late. So that movie, I totally resonated with me. At least the first half of the movie. I personally like once the sort of reveal happens and everything. I lost interest. But the first part of it, I thought was like really, really cool. But yeah, so like, what's the what is the like the market chatter on Kreger, and like how did he get? So this movie was like was there was a lot of competition for this one. How did he get it, and like what's sort of his standing right now in the?
Well, I think
scene.
they bid. It was like I think they bid 30 million, which I mean includes I think his salary and the production budget, but it's a lot.
He wrote it, right? But then he like
Yeah.
turns around and sells it, and then he
Yeah.
ended up.
Yeah, I mean you can write it and then basically you have a bidding war with studios where they basically say this is what we're willing to pay for both the production budget and your salary or whatever back end deal that you get. And the famous story about this one was that Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions, I guess somehow didn't get it, and Jordan Peele was so pissed because he liked the script as much that he fired whoever was doing their, negotiating or bidding. But like, presumably he would have given them a number to bid with. So why you would be upset with them, I don't know. But that's the story.
Maybe someone forgot to fax something,
Yeah.
diversity hire. I don't know. But so there was a possibility that somebody else might have directed the film.
No, just that it would have been produced by a different company.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay.
Well, and so Jordan Peele could have had a executive producer influence on it potentially.
Yeah, I mean, that new movie, Him. Like he's not directing that, but his production company is producing it.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been their first not black movie, or maybe that's why they lost it. Maybe they were like, you have to cast Denzel as the father and
Mixed race kid.
whoever is like Julie.
It might have been Kino, but Zendaya is the teacher.
Yeah, let's actually look at that real quick. I mean, this is just from Wikipedia. I don't know if it's accurate, but initially, what's his name? Brian Henry Tyree. Is that his name?
Oh yeah, Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah, he was initially, I think, going to play the principal, the part that later went to Benedict Wong, the Asian gentleman.
I can see that.
Would he have been gay?
Yeah,
probably.
As part of Hollywood's, buck-breaking, subversive agenda, he absolutely would have been.
Isn't he gay in something else, or is he gay in real life?
I'm 99% sure he's not gay in real life, but yeah.
Oh, he's gay in at least some movie. I don't know.
We all are at some point, I hear.
Yeah,
I think that's what Him is actually, it's allegorically about, but we haven't seen that one yet, so I can't totally affirm.
So they had to change out the whole cast.
Yeah.
Oh well, I just I guess I had heard about that, but I didn't remember until looking at it now. Yeah, I remember the Pedro thing being changed, but Renata Reinsve, I assume, but as the main actress would have been.
Yeah, she would
speak English fluently.
Oh, no, most Norwegians do, by just being Norwegian. Yeah. And Pedro Pascal was supposed to be the
I assume Josh
Brolin role. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Tim Burke or something like that. Tom Burke, I don't know, some English guy. He was going to be in the Alden Ehrenreich role. Arturo already sort of tipped his hand that he thought this was better than Barbarian. What did you guys think? Did you think it was better than Barbarian, better than other recent horror?
I thought it was really good. I thought it was a lot better than Barbarian. I thought it was, I don't know. I mean, I have to think back to what would be a better horror movie, but I'd say.
I mean, what have we got this year so far? I mean, 28 years later, does that count?
Yeah, but I thought this was a lot better than that. And that was a lot better than Sinner. I mean, I don't know. It's really fucking good. And I'm not going to think about ranking it or any of that horseshit. It's just really good.
Isn't Sinners being sort of considered for the Oscar right now? That's kind of in the race, right?
Yeah, but that's because there is a obviously, like, let's be honest here, like the racial element, and
And there are
there's
parts of it that feel prestige I think, especially in the first half.
yeah, like it is kind of a although the second half is arguably even like dumber, but there's no gross out stuff the way there is here, so it would
Mm,
off put like fewer people, like because no one's going to be, I think, as offended by Sinners as they would here. Um, and it is kind of a period movie, which kind of gives it a certain prestige. The director has done more that's like than just horror. Coogler, I mean, he did Fruitvale Station as well as Black Panther movies and whatnot. But yeah, it's just this I think is going to feel a little more horror-y, where that one could play at other things. And then also there's a social thing, like as Sean Fennessy was saying in your retweet, Arturo, like this is a horror movie where like you could read some sort of social thing, but there is literally zero like social relevant value, like
right.
social justice kind of angle you could really take with this film. I mean, maybe some like cop stuff, but that's so trivial. The way that like Sinners, you can really feel like, well, this is a really important movie for X, Y, or Z social reasons because it's about racism or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I did think in the lead up to this film that there was a possibility that they might lean into like a school shooting sort of allegory angle, which we can discuss. There's a little bit you could read into that, but it definitely was not like the thrust of it, or there wasn't like Fantasy said, like a hand holding angle to that like reading of it. So you're right there. It in some podcasts I like to go like full sued, but in this one I think it really is more just about like a rollicking good time, a good story, and I mean that's to its benefit, but yeah, in an Oscar sense, that it certainly would.
Yeah, that's what, when I saw the trailer, months ago, I thought I figured it was supposed to be like a Sandy Hook sort of thing where, well, we haven't even described the premise. Who wants to sort of describe the premise? Don't give too much away, but what happens in this movie? What's like the thing?
Well, the log line, which I've been really impressed that they've been pushing, and really, this is the first movie in a really long time where they've been marketing it basically solely on the premise,
Mm-hmm.
is that, and even the fucking billboards just say like at 2:17 a.m. like 17 children left their homes and ran into the night and never returned or
Yeah.
whatever.
More specific, like
Yes,
this one teacher,
or whatever.
Miss Gandy's class, every single kid except for one ran out of their front
Yeah,
doors and never came
that's
back.
the marketing pitch: is one classroom of kids all run out in the middle of the night. Nobody knows why. Community's up in arms. And I applaud them for really marketing with that pitch. I mean, the fucking billboards here in LA, I don't know if they do it in whatever backwoods you guys are in. Like, they have literally like a fake clock like embedded into the billboard that's like flashing like 2:17, and they did the fucking screening today at 2:17, and they've been really, really pushing that thing. And then they have like the cutout images of like the kids in Naruto running.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a really like the first in a while horror movie with like a premise first horror movie, and it's not even really marketed. Josh Brolin's face or Julie Garner weren't on any of the fucking billboards,
Yeah. They did the 2:17 thing in my market as well. I assume they did that actual thing everywhere, but yeah. And I had consumed very little marketing, so I didn't realize, like, I was looking at the times. You guys remember in the chat, I was like talking about like, I swear they like moved the times or something, but I was looking at all the things. I'm like 2:17. Like, why are they doing that? But it wasn't until I was in the movie that I realized why they did that. But yeah, I really found the premise compelling. I have kids and stuff, so like kid stuff in movies is one of the only things that like really gets to me. In this, they handled it interesting. And this is not a spoiler because this is like literally the first scene of the movie, but they kind of get it all out of the way. And it's for anyone who is like me and a little bit sensitive about missing kid stuff. It's sort of in the background a little bit. Like it's kind of like they handle it before the real events of the movie even start and stuff. So that's something to consider.
It's like the little girl narrator says, this is where the story really begins, and they've got like the one angry crowd scene, and then it does deal with the maybe aftermath a little bit.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
the pacing was just great in this movie. As you mentioned, it gets off to the races immediately. The premise, all you know is the premise, and the premise is out of the way in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I did find that little voiceover at the beginning interesting because they're talking about like, oh, this is this thing that happened in this town, and it was so embarrassing to the local like police that they didn't like that they had trouble with this crime or not crime, but that no one talks about it. It was covered up basically, and that was a funny way to handle like the internet question, because it's sort of like if this happened in our world, it would be the biggest story. Because all the parents would go on social media and start
so would fucking Mission Impossible 8. Like the world almost.
Oh
ended.
yeah, yeah. I just mean the point. They up front they sort of said, hey, we have to find a way to sort of explain away. It's sort of like when you have a phone in a movie or whatever, you have to find a way to like negate the presence of the phone, and so they handle that like right up front.
That's a good point.
And they also we only see a couple of the parents, but with one of them, Josh Brolin, asks, "Hey, can I see your footage to sort of cross-reference?" And she said, "No, I don't want to show you that." So you could presume that all the other families are so traumatized by it that they're not going to put the Ring footage of their child, leaving their house in the middle of the night. They're not going to put that online.
Yeah, there's an interesting sort of maybe parallel version of this where, not to get too sued about it, but if the community is more tight knit, maybe they're not so, I guess, atomized in the way that they deal with it. But yeah, I mean, if it was like a Stephen King book or something, like everybody in town would know everyone. But in this one, it's interesting, like the level of connection that everybody has. Like Miss Gandy is even like chastised for trying to be too intimate with the students, which, I mean, there's another reading of that where, maybe she does cross the lines, but it does seem like she's just sort of encouraged to not pry too much into their lives. And so it's almost natural that like nobody would have a sufficient connection to like Josh Brolin tries to solve the crime on his own. But other than that, people seem to be mostly just letting the police do whatever it is they're doing, which I guess as the voiceover says up front was not
be worth mentioning the movie's gimmick for the listeners who aren't familiar with it, because it's a big part, which is that if you've seen like Magnolia or something, the movie takes place from essentially in chapters where each chapter is a different person's perspective. So you'll occasionally see the same events from a different point of view, but it's largely new points of view or new events. And you will kind of, as you hop from character to character, find out more and more about what happened. Which is,
do you guys think that worked? Did you guys like that?
I thought it really worked. The one, and I thought, I mean, obviously I thought the movie was tremendous. So, but like the one thing that maybe I would have an issue with, and I get the sense that some other people in my theater did too. It didn't bother me really, but I felt like you kind of almost get the reveal too early. And
yeah,
then there's still a climactic sequence, which you kind of get what you wanted for and all of the peak craziness you've seen in the trailers. But like, you figure out the mystery sooner than you think. And then it's kind of seeing it happen, but you've basically figured it out. And when the movie ended, some people in my theater were like, "Oh my God, that seemed like it was like the longest movie ever." And I think maybe that's part of why it felt so long, is because you're the first part of the movie, you're so like the central driving force is what's this mystery, and it gets answered sooner than you'd think.
Yeah, the split narrative thing, which is zigzags chronologically a little bit. I don't think it didn't work, but I'm not sure that it added much for me. I think a more conventional chronology and narrative would have worked just fine, or maybe even a little better. But but I did think it worked. I think some of what your audience was picking up on was similar to my experience. I kind of felt like I did think the pace was great up until like the maybe between the second and third acts, like around there. I'm like, then it muddies up a little bit, and then my sort of conclusion, I do think the end is like worth it. Like it's a fun and interesting way to end it. And then Arturo mentioned in the chat, like, he's like, well, Granite's not saying what if he liked it or not. I thought it was quite good. I mean, I liked it definitely more than Barbarian, but probably a little less than most of you, or definitely less than probably all three of you, but I did like it for sure. Full disclosure, I'm not really a horror person, but there's long segments of this that are not, to me, that are not even a horror movie. It's like a crime thriller,
It's
sort
like
of.
Mystic River or something for the first.
Yeah.
hour.
Right.
Well, you know what this movie is almost like. You could like layer these two movies on top of each other. It's Prisoners.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like a chud dad who is not happy with the police, so he leads his own investigation, causing him to go too far at times. Missing kids, Pennsylvania. It's like kind of the two movies overlap quite well.
Yeah, as much as it's not at all a culture war thing, kind of my joke take on it is that toxic masculinity saves the day. It's like this construction worker dad like uses his know-how and just his ruthless determination to find his son and everybody else.
I would also add that another message would be that hot teachers being overly affectionate with their students is actually not harming the kids.
Yeah, if anything, she could have pried more, but figured it out sooner. I did like how they sort of framed her, like I sort of alluded to earlier, that she did like the kids, almost as like a surrogate child level. But I mean, they could have taken it in a more Richard Hernania sort of way, but they pulled back.
She's in trouble for hugging a student and giving a little girl a ride home. But I mean, at that age and stuff, like.
Sorry, just to get to what you were saying about the split narrative, before we get too far from that, I thought it really worked. I mean, I was telling Bip Hunter, I'm a sucker for that sort of construction of a film where it switches between POVs. I just, I feel like it's almost always like well done, or it always sort of, because there's always how do I put this? There's always it's true, like it might be easy to figure out the sort of whodunit aspect relatively early, but the fact that the different point of views always leave the possibility that there's going to be like another plot element you're not expecting that will enter the scene, and that does happen like several times, because you're never sure if there's another element that you're not entirely not expecting that might suddenly like come careening in, Naruto running into the scene. And so I thought that helped the pacing, is that even if you sort of had one aspect that you had figured out, like another aspect, like the potential of like yet another layer was always coming. And if you didn't like one of the POV, like one of the chapters, I can see how that would derail it, but I thought each of them worked and was additive. So I like the structure a lot. I think it was better than a conventional narrative would have been, in the way that it withheld potential secrets or reveals, or just plot points.
I think I'm with the Obese Goth audience, though, that with the reveal of the bad person, of the bad entity or whatever. And I can get into that in the spoiler section, but basically I didn't find the villain compelling enough for as much screen time as they got. So
I would agree.
I liked the makeup, I'll say that.
Oh, there you go.
I was thinking that was definitely going to be up your alley. I thought it was very reminded me of Alice in Wonderland.
I don't want to spoil too much in this section, but I did appreciate the character makeup on a certain character, and the dentures they had them in, the gore. I think the eyes were bugging out, were digital, because I don't see really you'd be able to do that. But some of the gore, especially at the end, I thought was very funny and effective. There's a weird amount of humor.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot
in aligned with that. I mean, I guess with Barbarian you'd expect it, but my audience certainly at certain points we could talk about in the spoiler section was both laughing and cheering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I laughed throughout. I clapped at the climax. I even got a little 5 seconds of misty eyed towards the end. It had everything in there. I thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would say just comparatively, if you're a Krager fan, off of Barbarian, I think it's definitely not as tense. It's not as much of a horror film, but I liked the character so much. It was nice when it relieved pressure. And there's even one character in the split segments that's basically all comedy.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it was very smart in that way to
Who? The gay
uh,
guy? Because he's gay?
no, the hobo.
I think he means the
Yeah.
crackhead. Or
Oh,
whatever it is.
okay. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I was affected by his socioeconomic plight, but maybe that's not.
Maybe you're just no. I mean, I thought that was suitably horrific in a very normal way, but it also was funny just because of the absurdity of things one
Yeah,
does
and
in that
he's great.
situation.
I mean, it's not a spoiler to kind of say what's the guy's name? Austin Abrams. He's really good. I thought he
Mhm.
was kind of like the little sneaky star of the whole thing. All right, we can move on to the spoiler stuff. That's good enough.
Well, just one more thing that's not a spoiler, but I just wanted to say it. But I'm sort of tired of horror movies like throwing in a few dream sequences to get extra
Mhm.
scares in. Together, the movie with Dave Franco and Alison Brie, I think it definitely had some of the extra dream sequence scares. I feel like we can retire that for a little
Well, no,
while.
I think the reason they do that is because you don't want the audience to get bored. So you have to keep it scary, but also you can't like essentially reveal the monster, so to speak, in the first 30 minutes of the film. But it's like we want to keep you on your toes. So I
Yeah.
get why they did that. I mean, I liked some of the tension around Julia Garner, where it was just like you were worried about like the parents as being the scary things. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I get why you do that from like a writing perspective. You gotta keep the folks gotta keep them.
No, me too. And within the movie itself, I thought they were well done. But just in a broader industry wide scale, I want to see if we can get a couple movies where they don't lean on that, where they can figure out a way to keep you scared in the first act, without it being like, ah, shit, it was a dream. Not that we didn't know it was a
Yeah,
dream.
although
But
this one it didn't cheat you because it was like the like with the Brolin dream, it's like immediately you're like it's confirmed you're in a dream because he sees himself sleeping.
Mhm.
So it's not like it's going to be the like, American Werewolf dream sequence where they get shot, wake up, get stabbed, wake up, like thing.
Yeah. No, it was good, but I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of them.
All right, let's move into kind of the rest of the conversation. So anyone who's listening right now, I'm gonna end the spoiler free section right here. I'll probably paywall it here. Maybe I'll paywall it later. We'll see. Just keep listening until it cuts off. But yeah, go to the Substack and subscribe to the full version. All right, so let's just continue on what the sort of thing we were talking about, the villain. Yeah, what did you guys think of?
This concludes the free preview. Full episode available for premium subscribers on Substack.com. Thank you for listening to the Granite Mountain Movie Club.